Hey, how you doing? It's Clayton Tini from the First Homebuyer Club. 100 lessons in 100 days, day 47, lesson 47. Today, what I want to discuss is what incentives are on offer for first home buyers. And more importantly, are you applicable to apply for them? And what are the pros and cons that you need to understand with each and what you should do moving forward? So, the firstly, I'm going to cover off on all the different incentives and grants on offers for first home buyers. Obviously, the first one we understand is the first home buyer grant. The second thing there is the new home guarantee, which used to be the old loan deposit scheme. Now it's switched over to the new home guarantee. The third one is the home builder boost. The fourth one, obviously, stamp duty exemption. And the fifth one is the super saver itself. So I'll start with the super saver. If you are someone that has put extra money into your super, I think it kicked off 2017 or signed off to start in 2018 from memory. If you were someone that was actively putting extra money into your super on top, that you could gain access to pull out, you could be eligible for the Super Savers scheme. You can do up to $15,000 in a year and a total of 30, which is a good little kicker to get you started into your own home. The stamp duty, I'll talk about that one because that one's a relatively easy one as well. You're exempt from stamp duty up to $250,000. Now, mind you, all the numbers I'm talking about in relation to Queensland, there may be slightly different answers outside of Queensland. Unfortunately, I'm not the person for you. However, I will be able to provide the links below and you can do a little bit more research. So stamp duty will be exempt up to $250,000 on the land purchase. And I think if you buy already built new homes, I think it's around 520 or 550 from memory. All right, we're going to talk about the good ones now, the new home guarantee, and I'm going to talk about a few things that are different that you may not be aware of. First one is that it's only for new homes. Before, it used to be new or old. You could the new home guarantee, which is you contribute 5% and the government will technically back the other 15%, so you can avoid mortgage insurance. It is now only for new homes, and there's a couple other things that they've put in. So in Queensland, or more importantly, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, and the surrounding that small area, you used to be only able to go up to 475,000. Now what they've done is they've realised across the board in Australia, they've realised that the price caps that they were allowing were just far too low. And as a result, they've increased them. So within Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, now you can go up to $650,000. It used to be 475. Pretty good bonus because it makes it a lot easier to be able to afford a lot more options in and around these areas. The next thing, obviously, it must be a person and not a trust. So you can't buy it in trust. You have to actually buy it as a Joe and Sue or whoever you are, you're in your identical names itself. The next thing is, if you're a single, you have to be earning $125,000 or less, and as a couple, it has to be $200,000 or less. Now, unlike the home builder boost, there is some stipulations on this. If you're applying for this after July 1, which it's already kicked in, that you'll have to do off the 2019/2020 assessment. Which is different to the home builder boost, which you could do on either of the 2 years and still get it across the line as long as you provide it. The other things we've noticed, you have to be above 18 years of age. You need to have a minimum of 5% deposit to be eligible. There's a total of 27 lenders that are applicable for it. However, there is some talk that some of the 25 small participate on this round. You must live in the home, and the other thing is that the guarantee only lasts when you live in the home. So what does that mean? It means you move in the home, you don't have to pay mortgage insurance, you've got the super low rate, and in 12, 24, 36 months' time, you decide you want to turn that into investment property. Here's the things that you need to do. You need to be reassessed through the bank, and they're going to potentially either charge you mortgage insurance to have the loan redone, or you've got the increase in the value and you no longer need the guarantee. But just be aware, if you are planning on moving out in 12 months, that the new home guarantee is finished at that point, that you no longer live in it, and there may be some complications with you moving forward. What else? You must live in it, and it's saying from 90 days of the guarantee, you must move into it and must be in there within the 6 months of being completed. Just be aware of those things. So, there's a couple of things that could get you caught out. If you didn't get into the home and approve within that time, you may be missing out on it, and you may have to request an extension. All right, we're going to talk about the home builder now. Now, this is very similar with a lot of the things that we spoke about with the new home guarantee, but we're going to cover off on it. The home builder booster, you can purchase up to $750,000, which means the 650 price cap that we're looking at purchasing, you can get both of them. It started on the 4th of June, is completed, it will finish on the 31st of the 12th, so the last day of the year. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get anything else past the 31st of December. It means that if you were to sign a contract on the 31st of December, you would have until approximately the 30th of March, 31st, maybe the 1st of April if they go technically with the 90 days, and I haven't got my calculated counted exact, but you've got 90 days from that point when you need to be in. The thing with the home builder boost is you can request an extension if there's actual a proper reason for it. So, there might be a hold up with the land or something outside your control. You just need to request that to make sure it can get approved. Obviously, singles again, 125,000, couples 200,000. And where this is different with the home builder boost, it says you can use either. So if you fall within the parameter for the 2018-2019 year, I'd suggest don't do your 2019-2020 tax at the point that you go to lodge it, because we want to get you that money. Also will help you get into the home. You have to be an owner occupier. It doesn't matter if you're a first home buyer or a second or a fifth home buyer, just you need to be living in it. Generally, you'll be paid at slab. Now, when I say paid at slab, you're not going to get at slab, especially right now. There has been so many people applying for it that they've got a backlog. So you may find that you might not get it until frame or even lock-up stage, because they're still trying to process it. Hopefully, as the months go on towards the end of the year, they will speed it up on their processes, and you might get paid a little bit quicker. Now, there's only a couple of banks that we know of that will consider using it as a deposit, and those banks require you to have a minimum of 90% or a minimum of 10% deposit in order to use it. So there's that one. Now, the first home buyer grant, sorry, the one thing I didn't talk about with the new home guarantee and also the home builder boost is you must be an Australian citizen to apply for it. So unfortunately, if you're a permanent resident living in Australia, you're not eligible for it. And that was part of what I spoke about in my email today, why I wanted people to come on, because there are companies out there that are promising it. And with a client that we're now working with, nearly got caught out as a result of that, was just about to put a non-refundable deposit down before they spoke to us as a second opinion. And lucky for them, because they wouldn't have been able to proceed with that block. It was a little bit more expensive, and they weren't going to get all the incentives to help them on. So a home builder and new home guarantee must be an Australian citizens. Now, the other thing with the new home guarantee is that whilst the government has agreed to it, the 10,000 spots that they've accepted, they haven't actually come into play yet. So they're trying. And again, we were on the phone again today trying to understand a little bit more about it. They're trying to do what they can to release it as soon as possible. But unfortunately, government isn't in a position to allow or open the applications. But stay tuned, and as soon as we hear it, we'll let you guys know. The last one, first home buyer grant, it's $15,000. It's eligible to permanent residents or Australian citizens. Must be a first home buyer, must live in the home, and you must be in the home within 6 months of the first 12. And it can be used in conjunction with all the other incentives. There are still quite a few banks that will allow the first home buyer grant to be used as a deposit, which is a good little foot up to help you get in. and get on your way. So with them, if you want to add it up, you can actually use them in combination. So first home buyer grant and the new home guarantee, which allows you to use the $15,000 first home buyer grant towards deposit, and using the remaining funds to get to the 5%. There are some banks that will allow that. Otherwise, you need to have 5% deposit to avoid mortgage insurance as well. So, there's nearly $30,000 in savings on the lower amounts, and up to $650,000 purchase, you could be saving as much as $25,000 or $26,000 in mortgage insurance. So it's a great incentive. Then on top of that, the home builder boost, another $25,000, and the stamp duty exemption, which there you're probably going to save another probably $5,000 or $6,000. It's over $70,000 worth of incentives if used at the max capacity of everything. Now, it's not to say that we suggest that you buy the biggest and most expensive just for the sake of it, but what we do suggest is you run the numbers and understand if this is right for you. Now, the reason why I want to talk about is it right for you or not is this. If you are not saving money right now and only just paying your bills, it doesn't matter if they're giving you $100,000 in incentives. Right now is probably not the right time for you to purchase a home, because you might get into your own home. That's if the banks say yes, and with everything these days, it probably won't. But you don't want to get in a house and be struggling just to live week to week, right? So understand these. If your inability to pay rent and save, I always like to say, look, you should be allowing at least a $150 to $200 buffer on what you pay in rent, and that's the sort of area and the house that you should be expecting. But if you can't do that, and it's not about you can or you can't, I would just ask you, is now the right time? Now, for most, you probably make a lot of money and just live life, and that's okay to live life, but just make sure you're right. You know what you're doing and how you can change it. If you're not saving that $100 to $200 per week as a minimum, maybe check over your budget, see what things you can sort of take out of there and cut back, and then reassess again. Because what we would really love, especially if it's working with us or you're working with someone else or you're building yourself, is that you get in that home, smash off that mortgage, pay it down fast, and really live a better life. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys, I hope you got a bit out of today. I think I went on a little bit of a tangent towards the end, but with all the incentives on offer, it is a really good time if you are in a position to buy. If you're saving money, you're a first home buyer, you're an Australian citizen, it's just in cash alone, it's over 40 grand. Now, the last thing I'll talk about, because we've had just in the last 24 hours, we've had, I think, 4 people question us about it. We see a lot of these companies are doubling the boosts, doubling the grants. How are they doing it? They're actually adding money onto the price. So just be aware that you think you're getting $25,000, the chances are you're probably just paying $25,000 more for that house when you're trying to get in. All right, guys, I hope you got a bit out of today. Talk to you soon. Bye.